Look, I understand that it started a lot of conversations, and he was one of many collaborators that I collaborated with.
And think about how many resources went into putting these women into space. For what? I'm disgusted, literally.
I'm going to tell you something right now. You are officially an astronaut.
Thank you so much.
How do you feel?
I feel super connected to love.
Whoever came up with this title, give this guy a freaking raise. Tell me how this is not awesome. Astronaut.
When Katy Perry signed up for Blue Origin's latest space trip, she probably thought she was making history, or at least scoring some major headlines. What she didn't expect was to come back to Earth and find herself in the middle of a full-blown PR nightmare.
Astronaut conspiracy theories swirl about Katy Perry's fake Blue Origin space mission.
Someone went to space for like 4 minutes. What is she kissing the ground for? Pointing up to the sky.
Katy! Woo!
And to the guy, woo, Katy, yeah. Dumb, bro.
What was supposed to be a feel-good moment, empowering, historic, inspirational, turned into the internet's favorite roast session. From critics calling her hypocritical to memes comparing her launch to a billionaire joyride, Katy's mission to the stars didn't exactly land the way she planned. And just when she thought it couldn't get worse, the Simpsons jumped in and lit the match.
I'm going to tell you something right now. You are officially an astronaut.
Bro.
Stop the cap.
Stupid.
Let me tell you right now, Katy, you're officially an astronaut.
Oh, I guess I'm a freaking brain surgeon then. I couldn't believe, wow. I can't believe she even said. How do you even format your lips to say something so stupid?
The Simpsons didn't just make a quick joke at Katy's expense. They delivered a full roast wrapped in animated gold. In a recent episode, the writers took aim at celebrity space travel, painting it as tone-deaf, wasteful, and laughably self-important. And the fictional pop star they used? Let's just say the animated version looked suspiciously like someone who'd recently taken a real-life suborbital joyride. Fans immediately made the connection. Katy wasn't just roasted, she was the punchline. And the worst part? It was funny because it felt accurate.
Just show the legendary landing real quick, Rob. This is such a beautiful moment. This may be greater than us landing. Look at it. Look at the way it lands to the ground. None of them break their backs. Look at this. Watch for it. Wow.
Southwest Airlines lands just like this.
The freaking music is awesome, right? Gladiator type.
Oh, back
Boom.
this.
Look at that.
My back would have been shattered.
You see it? How sick is that, right?
Oh.
Just like motivating.
Sources close to Katy say she's not laughing at all. Behind closed doors, she's reportedly furious. Not just at the show, but at the way the whole Blue Origin trip has backfired. What was supposed to be a proud moment has turned into non-stop criticism. And now she's a national punchline in animated form. She's frustrated that The Simpsons, a show she once guest starred on and supported, decided to drag her into the chaos. And she's even more furious that the internet loved it so much. Because here's the brutal truth. When The Simpsons roasts you, it's not just an insult, it's a cultural death sentence. They don't come after people who are winning. They come after people who have already lost the room.
I'm going to tell you something right now. You are officially an astronaut.
Thank you so much.
How do you feel?
I feel super connected to love.
God, this is so dumb.
Section 4. The internet reacts. And it's not pretty, of course. The memes exploded instantly. TikToks roasting Katy's Blue Origin mission. Edits showing her launching into space with dollar signs trailing behind her. Tweets joking, Katy Perry spent millions to make herself less relatable in under 10 minutes. And once The Simpsons roast aired, it was over. The clips went viral. Reaction channels blew up. Suddenly, Katy wasn't just another celeb trying something new. She was a cautionary tale of how fast public goodwill can vanish. Fans didn't just laugh. They relished it. Because in a world where celebrities seem increasingly detached from reality, watching one get taken down a peg, especially by a beloved show like The Simpsons, felt almost therapeutic.
However, there's been some critics saying some stuff in it.
Really?
Rob, I don't know if you have any of the critic stuff or not. Do you have any of this stuff on how they open the door first and then they have to reopen the door and they have to say, go back in there, and then Jeff Bezos falls. Poor guy's tripping. He's having a hard time.
On paper, Katy Perry's Blue Origin launch sounded like a guaranteed PR win. Big names, big cameras, big moment for female empowerment in space. But somewhere between liftoff and landing, things went sideways. And fast. Instead of headlines about inspiration, Katy's mission got framed as tone-deaf billionaire cosplay. Critics didn't care that it was historic. They cared that it was out of touch. While the world grapples with economic strain, environmental disasters, and everyday struggles, a pop star floating in zero gravity felt off. And the Simpsons didn't just tap into that feeling, they amplified it.
Which one is this, Rob? Tell us.
This is the door being opened from the inside.
Watch this.
What's going to come out of
They're not supposed to open the door yet.
her
Look, they're like, close the door!
Is that Jeff Bezos out there right by the capsule? Kind of hard to see. That is
I have to
correct.
pee.
That is Jeff Bezos, our founder.
He has to step up with the official doohickey thing.
Katy's biggest mistake wasn't the launch itself, it was losing the narrative afterwards. When The Simpsons aired their parody, they didn't just poke fun, they flipped the entire story. In less than 2 minutes of animation, they reframed her trip as pure ego, an expensive vanity project that solved nothing and inspired no one. It didn't matter what her original intent was. The moment it aired, the damage was done. And unlike social media backlash, which can fizzle, a Simpsons joke sticks. It becomes cultural shorthand, a permanent reminder. Katy wasn't the brave pop star reaching for the stars anymore. She was the celebrity who blew millions to touch the sky and lost the ground beneath her.
I gotcha. Oh, the moon! You guys, I will have to tell you, look at the moon.
Doing a whole bunch of nothing.
Watching her
Look, I brought my little butterfly.
Online, the backlash didn't just stay at meme level, it matured, it evolved. News sites started picking up the Simpsons clip, weaving it into opinion pieces about celebrity excess. Podcasts debated whether Katy's launch was symbolic or shameless. TikTokers stitched footage of her in the Blue Origin capsule with commentary like, "Meanwhile, your rent is due tomorrow." Suddenly, Katy wasn't just dealing with bad press. She was facing a full-blown shift in how the public talked about her. Before, she was the quirky, colorful pop star who didn't take herself too seriously. Now, she was being lumped in with the out-of-touch elite. And once that shift happens, it's almost impossible to reverse.
Rob, what else you got? Because there's a bunch of them.
I have Gayle King claiming that it was sexist. The way the
Go ahead
media
and play
covered
this
it.
clip. Go ahead, Rob.
I don't like that people are calling it a ride. A ride, you know, you never see a male astronaut who's going up in space and they said, oh, he took a ride. We actually duplicated the route that Alan Shepard did. That's why it's called, this particular capsule is called the New Shepard. We duplicated that route. No one said he took that ride. Yeah. It's always referred to as a flight or a journey. So I feel that that's a little disrespectful to what the mission was and what the work that Blue Origin does.
They went on a
space
mission.
technology.
Mission.
Realizing the temperature was rising, Katy's team tried to do damage control, carefully placed quotes about how the trip was empowering for women and how she hoped to inspire young girls to dream bigger. Nice words. Too late. Because, at that point, the public wasn't buying empowerment talk. They were buying t-shirts with Simpsons parody slogans. They weren't inspired. They were annoyed. And every time Katy tried to pivot back to positivity, it only reminded people of how badly the launch had been received. In short, she lost control of the narrative, and no carefully crafted Instagram post was going to get it back.
The worst part is when
There's people starving in other countries and we're clapping and cheering. Like, bro, this is wild. And then Katy Perry steps out, starts kissing the ground. Bro, the stories write themselves. Like, we are living in a Black Mirror episode. Like, what is this, bro? Yeah.
Meanwhile, reaction channels, pop culture critics, and TikTok comedians were feasting. YouTubers posted breakdowns titled, Katy Perry's spaceflight disaster. Explained, how a 10-minute flight destroyed 10 years of goodwill. Simpsons roasts Katy Perry. And it's brutal. Every frame of Katy in a spacesuit became meme material. Every attempt she made to reframe the story became a punchline. And the wildest part? Most of these creators weren't even mad at Katy personally. They were just riding the wave. Because the internet doesn't need villains. It just needs content. And Katy's Blue Origin trip handed them gold.
Look, I understand that it started a lot of conversations, and he was one of many collaborators that I collaborated with.
Long after the memes stop, long after the press cycle moves on, this moment will linger. Katy Perry's name is now etched into a certain kind of cultural memory. The celebrity who reached for the stars and got roasted all the way back down. And every time someone mentions celebrities losing touch, her Blue Origin trip will be Exhibit A. It's not career-ending. Katy's too big to fully cancel over something like this, but it's career-defining. The next time she steps on stage, there'll be people who don't see California Girls Katy. They'll see Space Tourist Katy, and that's the kind of rebrand no publicist in the world can fix overnight.
Flint, I gotcha.
The final nail? It wasn't the flight. It wasn't the backlash. It was The Simpsons putting it in ink, because that's what The Simpsons does best. It doesn't just roast, it documents. It turns celebrity missteps into cultural time capsules. Years from now, people won't remember every headline. They won't remember every angry tweet, but they will remember that cartoon, that quick, savage episode that turned a multi-million-dollar mission into a running gag. And that's what Katy's really mad about. Not that she made a mistake, but that someone animated it, and now she can never live it down.
And think about how many resources went into putting these women into space. For what? I'm disgusted, literally.
You know, the moment The Simpsons roast aired, Katy's name started bouncing around every backroom in Hollywood. Agents, brand reps, studio execs. Not publicly, of course. Hollywood never trashes its own in the open. But in the halls, in the DMs, in the off-the-record lunch meetings, oh, they were talking, because the industry doesn't just watch how the public reacts. It watches how fast the public reacts. And Katy's crash landing after the Blue Origin trip sent a very clear signal. She might still sell albums, but she's not selling trust right now. And for brands looking for safe, happy, non-controversial partnerships, that's the kind of whisper that turns into a contract quietly sliding off the table. Katy has always been a brand magnet. Pepsi, CoverGirl, H&M, you name it. But brand loyalty is a myth in the world of PR. Companies aren't loyal to artists. They're loyal to public perception. Right now, Katy's public perception is out of touch, privileged, and tone deaf. Even though it might pass in a few months, brands don't like maybe. They like guarantees. And no one wants their eco-friendly fashion line or budget-conscious makeup campaign attached to a meme about millionaires playing astronaut. A few brand meetings have probably already started with, "We love Katy, but maybe we pivot this next quarter," which in Hollywood speak means, yeah, we're done here. Celebs are pack animals. They follow the heat. They follow the optics. Right now, very few big names are lining up to defend Katy publicly. That's not because they suddenly hate her. It's because no one wants to be next. No one wants to get dragged into the backlash by association. Even the ones who loved the Blue Origin idea months ago, suddenly posting beach pics, concert selfies, family moments, anything but support for Katy's trip. Because once a celebrity becomes a symbol for something unpopular, even a simple "congrats, queen" comment can blow back in your face. And every publicist in LA knows it. If the backlash was simmering before, the influencers lit it up like 4th of July. Instagram Reels and TikToks exploded, most using the Simpsons clips side by side with real footage of Katy's spaceflight. Some were funny, some were brutal. Some basically declared Katy the poster child for celebrities losing touch with reality in 2025. The worst part? Most of these influencers didn't even care about Katy before this. But the moment she became easy content, she became fair game. And unlike traditional media, influencer-driven backlash doesn't fade with a few positive headlines. It keeps going because creators can milk new angles out of it for weeks, maybe months. Once you're a meme, you're not just a person, you're content. Now, Katy's team has two basic options. Option 1, ignore and hope it dies. Let the news cycle move on, post some random tour updates, maybe announce a new single, and act like nothing ever happened. It's worked for bigger scandals. Option 2, address it head on, own it, laugh about it, play the roast back into the public's hands, maybe even drop a skit making fun of herself. Self-awareness is the only currency strong enough to buy back a little goodwill. If Katy tries to act like the jokes didn't happen, she risks looking even more out of touch. But if she leans in, smartly, she might just turn this mess into a moment of redemption. The clock's ticking, and the internet is watching. This isn't just another celebrity controversy. It's not a scandal about something Katy said in a magazine interview. It's bigger, because the Blue Origin trip, and everything after it, symbolize something fans are getting sick of. Celebrities, flaunting wealth and access in a world that feels increasingly unstable. It's not about the rocket, it's about the message. And Katy? She accidentally sent the wrong one at the worst possible time. Once The Simpsons parodied it, the feeling crystallized. It wasn't just Katy's image that took a hit. It was the whole idea of pop stars as relatable heroes. The fallout from this isn't just career turbulence. It's a reshaping of what fans expect and tolerate from their celebrities. Katy Perry built her empire on escapism, candy-coated music videos, glitter bombs, wild, theatrical fun. She was the queen of not taking anything too seriously, and that's why this crash burns harder than most. Because when your whole brand is fun, and suddenly you're the face of tone-deaf elitism, that's not just a bad look. It's an identity crisis. Can Katy rebuild? Absolutely. She's survived worse press cycles before. She's still massively talented, still massively famous. But she's gonna have to work twice as hard now to make people forget the image burned into their minds by one cartoon, one meme, and one flight that should have been historic, but instead became hilarious. When Katy Perry suited up for her Blue Origin adventure, she probably imagined headlines celebrating her as a trailblazer, a dreamer reaching for the stars. What she got instead was a cultural collision, one that knocked her brand straight out of orbit. Because in today's world, it's not enough to do something historic. You have to do it at the right time, with the right tone. Otherwise, it's not a milestone, it's a meme. Katy's trip didn't feel inspiring. It felt disconnected. It felt extravagant. And when The Simpsons captured that feeling in a single, savage roast, it locked in a version of her legacy she didn't plan for. A pop star taking a ride to the edge of space could have been a one-week story, a cool footnote in a long career. But The Simpsons changed that. Their roast wasn't just funny, it was definitive. It framed Katy's flight as the symbol of celebrity, cluelessness, wrapped it up in a perfect cartoon caricature, and handed it to the internet with a wink. No explanation needed, no nuance required. Just, see? This is what we mean when we say they're out of touch. It wasn't the launch that ruined Katy's moment. It was the laughter afterwards. Katy's built an empire on being colorful, fun, and above it all. But this time, being above it all became the exact thing people used against her. The fallout didn't just dent her public image, it created a blueprint, a new way the media, influencers, and even fans talk about celebs who chase experiences that feel disconnected from reality. Now, when another star tries to do something extravagant, Katy's spaceflight will be the reference point, the template. She didn't just fly to the edge of space, she accidentally flew into a cultural wall. And no tweet, no charity appearance, no music video will erase that overnight. For the industry, this is bigger than just Katy. Her crash landing is a signal to every other A-lister considering a headline-grabbing, reality-detached stunt. Read the room first, because the audience today isn't the audience from 10 years ago. They're sharper, louder, less forgiving. And if you come across like you're flexing your wealth or playing tourist while the world struggles, they will roast you, meme you, and move on without a second thought. Disney, Amazon, Netflix, they're all watching this unfold. Every casting, agent, brand director, and tour manager now has a new question to ask. Is this going to make our star look relatable or ridiculous? Katy Perry unintentionally gave them their new test case. If there's any hope of salvaging this, Katy's going to have to do the one thing her brand was never really built for: humility. She can't outshine the backlash with fireworks. She can't drown it in glitter or pop beats. She has to own it, laugh with it, admit that yeah, maybe she didn't read the room, and show she's not taking herself too seriously. Self-deprecation isn't a weakness in celebrity culture anymore. It's a survival tool. If Katy leans into the joke the way smart celebs like Ryan Reynolds or Gordon Ramsay lean into their memes, she can flip the script. But if she ignores it, if she pretends the roast didn't land, the internet will make sure the jokes outlast the music. At the end of the day, Katy Perry's spaceflight wasn't a tragedy. It wasn't a scandal. It was just a reminder, an expensive, highly public reminder, that timing and perception matter more than ever. And thanks to one perfectly timed roast from The Simpsons, a 10-minute trip to the stars will now live forever. Not as triumph, but as a punchline. In a way, Katy got what few celebrities get anymore: a real, unscripted, messy human moment. The question now is whether she has the guts and the smarts to turn that human moment back into a win. Because in Hollywood, the stars that shine longest are the ones who know when to laugh at themselves before everyone else does. When pop stars lose the plot and cartoons rewrite the headlines, you know I'll be here to break it all down. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell, because Hollywood's next meltdown is probably already warming up on the launch pad.